Yes, absolutely. Black Americans have made Africa look cool for decades, way before Afrobeats became popular over here in America. The young generation and those that have came to the United States have this unneeded disdain for FBAs. When the majority of them come here, they have came to this country and have passed systematic oppression. You've passed slavery, Jim Crow. You've passed the crack wars that were put in our neighborhoods. And now you're trying to bypass building up something independent for yourselves in the United States. Everything that FBA started, you want to claim it as your own. We don't care that Africans now own Essence magazine. Bravo, great, wonderful. But we also have ownership of other magazines. And then to turn around and try to insult Black Americans while hosting in an event off of our image, it is the most insane behavior that could ever be witnessed. Guess what? Not only did we build Essence, but we built Ebony, Jet, Sister to Sister, Word Up Magazine, Black Enterprise, Oprah Magazine, Black Hair, Hype Hair, Right On, Vibe, Black Beat. There are so many magazines that have went international that were started by FBA. If you feel the pride of Essence, wonderful. Our job has been completed, because Essence is just one of many magazine companies that have been started off by FBA and supported by FBA, whether it's still Black owned or not. It was about the Black American culture that you say we don't have, right? And what I need to know is, what African magazine has ever influenced the global market that you have established while you have been planted here since 1964 when civil rights passed? We also have HBCUs that offer many opportunities to both African-born professors and students. When other schools would turn you away, you are welcome at the HBCU campuses with love. You have been able to open up your own medical practices in our neighborhood when many white neighborhoods would not even allow you to open up your doors on their street. The Latino nor will the Asian companies come to your braid shops. If it had not been for the Black woman's dollar, many of you would be fighting what many migrants of Latin countries are trying to do here for jobs. You seek out who you can connect yourself to outside of the Black American group, to the circles of white Americans, when it's completely transactional. Black people have over here in this country have never exploited you on the continent. Black Americans have never gotten even one diamond, not a piece of gold, no oil, and no other type of resources that are up under your feet. But other races have, that are from this country. You would not dare advocate for your people against them, though. For decades, FBA has reminded the world about the greatness of Africa. Almost all of the media that has placed Africa in the positive light and has been popularized around the globe have either been created by or had actors that have helped to spread the awareness of the continent and the greatness of the continent. I know that many Africans do not share this sentiment against us, so let me pause for that. But I have to call this out because it is so evident when I stroll down TikTok and I see your able-bodied adults. They are on TikTok dancing, flipping, begging, pleading for donations while they are standing in the middle of a dirt floor, no paint on the walls, with one utility light hanging over their heads as their only light source. You you cannot be saying that you are trying to compete against us when that's still going on.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Look.
Zambia is facing severe power crisis, with the country's electricity company alerting the public that from September 1st, many users would have to bear with up to 17 hours of no power supply daily. Zambia Electricity Supply Corporation, ZESCO, said recently that the power disruption, which is locally known as load shedding, will be implemented across
from Nigeria. You're right by the water there. Eh? Why is it that Nigeria doesn't have power 24/7?
It's crazy.
When you could do hydro.
It's insane. But then you have to remember, a lot of the politicians out there, they're all invested in generator companies.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? Bro, everywhere you go in Nigeria, is generators everywhere.
It's not good for the environment.
Of course it's not. So, but you got to think about it. So
That is
you
mad.
telling them to invest in, is that they're putting themselves out of
Atwenye nyingi amazzi ne gamuvuga okuva Endejje paka Kabuuma era omulambo.
Instead of saying, what was it that these people have been able to do for over 500 years from being pulled away from the empire of Africa to be able to exceed to the heights that they have exceeded to, whether they have issues in their culture or not. No, what you're concerned about is we're not a part of a tribe. We don't know what country we come from in Africa. We don't speak the language. When people are over there dying because they don't have access to clean water, you send your coins back to them while you stay over here in the United States and the UK and you floss as if, you still coming from the Mali Empire. You have medical offices in America, and so do we. You have law offices here in America, so do we. We have schools, we have stores, we have all types of services that we have been patronizing each other for decades. Okay? We have actual wealthy communities that were made by Black American hands. Even with all of the oppression, they were supported by Black Americans, and many of them still exist to this day because of Black Americans. You say we lazy. I say you're more lazy. If you can flee here knowing that your families are still fetching pails of water, you're more lazy.
Keep it up, please keep it up.
I will.
Good, keep
Respect
it
is earned and deserved.
up. Yep, and you haven't given none.
Go now, go back to
Respect is earned.
And when are you gonna give some, sir? When?
I'm sick and tired of
I've
you.
been in this car for 50 fucking minutes. When have you respected me as a passenger? When? I got in here. I asked you, can you turn your music down? You turned the fucking shit up even more.
like this.
Nobody should have to ask you that.
You feel so entitled.
Yes, I feel entitled because I'm a passenger.
You're a passenger, but this is.
And this
it's
is
my
your
car.
job.
It's not my job.
It's your job.
It's my car.
Be
I can
fucking
kick
professional.
you out of the car anytime I want to.
Guess what?
I don't work for anybody.
Then you do whatever the fuck you need to do.
I don't work for anybody.
Yes.
I work for myself.
Okay. Keep on.
You know,
keep
I
on,
can
keep
kick you
on.
out of. It's my car.
Okay.
Please, she's not wise. Don't be quarreling with her, please. Just go. Go
You
like this.
Black
Take
Americans, you feel so entitled. Over what?
the next right.
Lazy ass motherfuckers.
Ooh, yes, yep.
Go get some job. You like to live on welfare. My tax money is taking care of you equally if you don't know that.
What is so interesting about that conversation between this African man and his passengers is that he was acting as if he was a white supremacist. And with him saying that they are lazy, that they are on his tax dollars, oh my goodness. All the while, there's billions of dollars of our tax money going over to Africa in U.S. aid. But see, now the tone has changed. And I've noticed that there's this back and forth now because there's no longer that reassurance that while I'm over here as an African immigrant trying to make money, they don't have that cushion of support to help to close the gap of need for his people back home. And so, like, even with this whole African Union and with them now trying to get reparations from European countries in America, it's just another ploy to come up with a way to get that cushion money back. And in my opinion, I feel like this. After observing all of those videos that were taken in 2025, okay, these are all recent videos of how poor their infrastructure is, not only in South Africa, but in Nigeria and other places of the continent. I feel like they don't work enough over in Africa. Because if you worked enough in Africa, then you would be able to have enough collective tax money to generate the type of funding you need to be self-sufficient enough to have electricity. Do you see what I'm saying? They are not working enough. If you observe a lot of the videos that you see of modern, everyday, in today's time, African videos that people upload or just news, what do you typically see? You typically see groups of people just kind of sitting around. They really don't have like a work ethic. And I think that's because things have been so inexpensive because they have the bare minimum over there. So when they come over here to the United States and UK, it's like a cultural shock. Not only a cultural shock, but an economic cultural shock. Then you come and see that it takes more than just a will to want to survive. You can have the will, but you also have to have access. You have to have education. And a lot of times as well, they do go to college over there in Africa, but you have a lot of professionals that are trying to keep young African college students that graduate from their universities over there to stay home, because what's happening is it's a term for it, and it's called brain drain. And that's when, for instance, Nigeria has like so many billions of dollars to be able to educate their college students. When they educate them, those students flee to the United States and UK. Okay, but see, when they leave from Africa, there's a different standard of education. So and especially when they come to the United States, they may have been like an RN or a physician's assistant or whatever in Africa. But when they come over to the United States, many of them don't have the credentials. So they're having to redo a lot of the coursework that they have already done over on the continent. They're going to have to redo it here in America, in the United States. And the sad part about it is a lot of them get scammed by their own people. Especially in the UK, you have a lot of Nigerians that build up these platforms promising African students that they're going to be able to help them get a job with an agency. All you have to do is pay me $30,000 and it's a guarantee we're going to get your documents and everything in order. Well, they get to like the UK once they get there, or the United States, and they realize that these agencies have no idea who this person is. They don't have any housing or anything like that. So a lot of them actually do turn around and come home. But for the ones that their parents migrated over here a little shortly if it's not right at civil rights being passed, shortly after, a lot of the second generation Nigerians have done well because they grew up in this country and they've been able to learn the culture and they understand the ways of having to build up wealth and survive. But not everybody is like, we are not your enemy. We have always been your cheerleaders. Even when we know that you don't like us, we still have given love back because we had to learn earlier on that we are more mighty together. And one more thing, this some type of behavior that you project towards Black Americans, as if you are somehow humbling us when you mention things like, do you know where you're from? Do you know your tribe? Do you speak the language? Do you know your culture back in Africa? And I'm thinking to myself, at this point in time, I really could care less. Because if I really want to deeply delve into where I'm from genetically, we've got DNA tests for that now. I don't have to go through anybody to figure out who I am. And really, to tell you the truth, it's irrelevant because of the way y'all treat each other. You know where your tribe is at. You speak the language, and look how y'all treat each other. Y'all are reckless towards each other, way more reckless than Black Americans are towards each other in gang violence. Your gang violence, it is treacherous. It is treacherous. So, no, I really could care less about finding out who my tribe is. It really is irrelevant at this point in time. Y'all are jealous of each other. You talk about each other. You're nasty towards each other. You are uppity towards each other. And in my opinion, I feel like a lot of y'all are okay that some of y'all people over there are still living in those conditions. You go to sleep at night with, you don't have a care in the world. And stop flexing to Black Americans. Yes, we have our problems, but again, we have had to go through a lot more in this country than you have. You've gotten a bypass. You got to skate by all of those other things. And guess what? We still applaud you. Look at these next few videos to get a deeper dive into what's really going on back in a lot of their home countries that they are running from. And these are videos from people that have lived on the continent and they are now living in other countries. And they are upset with a lot of their own folks that have moved to the United States. They've moved to like the Middle East, like Dubai. They moved to the UK. And a lot of these people are being thrown out because there's so much scamming, there's kidnapping, there's gang violence. Like, nobody wants to live around them. And when they come into these countries, a lot of them are not civic minded. And so that means that what they would typically do back in their home country, not something that you would do as a contributing member to society. Like, you're not going to sit on a train and pull out your whole entire bowl of food and just eat it in the middle of nowhere. You know, those are things that are customary to certain countries where you can do that. But once you come into countries that are like more predominantly European or American or Middle Eastern, you cannot do that. And you will be checked for it. So look at some of these videos and see what's going on. Not only abroad, but what's going on over here in the United States as well. Take a look at some more videos in where in 2024 and in 2025, they are frustrated. They are going to social media and they are talking about how over different parts of the continent of Africa, they are still struggling to have lights on. You have children. I don't have a video of the kids, but I'm just going to say this. You have videos that people have uploaded of children that have to go on the dangerous road and sit on a sidewalk because there is only one city lamp on their street. They don't have power. It's pitch black in their home and in their vicinity. So they have to walk alone by themselves to a public nightlight that you would see on a city street. They have to sit up under that nightlight and do their homework. And these are the original homes of people that come here and call us lazy. Let me tell you something. Y'all have enough brilliant minds in just Nigeria alone to be able to develop your own solar powered street lights, your own solar powered lights that you can sit outside during the nighttime, let them power up without a generator, and then you're able to bring them inside of your home so that it can give you a glow for at least a few hours, and then just put them back outside. Do you see what I'm saying? Like FBAs, because we didn't have access, we didn't even have a right to autonomy. We were considered 3/5 of a human. So when we had an opportunity to finally taste freedom, so many inventions came about that were actually patent, that actually brought Black Americans wealth, because we had to figure out how to do things domestically with less stress. Because before the Latin immigrants came here in the modern times after 1964, it was the Black Americans that was the domestic labor force. We were the ones that were doing those jobs. We were out there in the fields picking cotton and produce because we worked as sharecroppers, and we didn't get paid hardly as much as a lot of these new migrants are getting paid. So because the labor and the responsibility was on our backs, we had to come up with ideas, witty inventions, to be able to ease the load off and to be able to conserve more time. We don't have time. We still are having to pick up some of those jobs that the majority in this country does not work. Okay, even if they're not educated, they still have the upper hand where we don't have that option. And this is what I want to get across to African immigrants that always complain that Black people are lazy. We had no other choice but to work. And in fact, there was a certain period of time after the end of slavery, and where there were penal codes, they would put a Black woman, a free Black woman, in jail if she did not go and work as a domestic worker for a white woman. They would pick up Black men who were newly free and put them on a railroad system to help them build those tracks between the North and the South. So Black people have always had to work. I feel like it was a dip in work ethic between these hundreds of years that we have been here in the United States and we have left there. The work ethic died, and now the proof is in the pudding. When you look at where they come from, the infrastructure is awful. They have to have people come in there to help them. The British came and had to help them build refinery oil machines so they can get those resources. The Dutch came in there and helped them build up South Africa because all they wanted to do was have tribal wars. And now look at the condition that's in there today. The French came in there and had to show them how to build infrastructure, and that's why they don't want to leave today. That's why President Macron keeps threatening some of these countries. For the first time under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, it has been the first time that I have seen our African brothers and sisters get up and do for themselves. They are getting out there. They are building their roads. They are donating food. They are donating cement bags. They are serious about doing for self. They do not want to depend on any United States money, any French money, anybody's money. They know that they have the power to do what it is to make them great.
Oh man, inject this into my veins. We're now getting videos and pictures of the economic development that's going on under Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader Ibrahim Traore. This guy posted himself driving a motorcycle on brand new roads surrounded by brand new housing developments. This guy showed a massive building that's being constructed, even though the Western media wants you to believe that African people all live in huts. Here's a man working the wheelbarrow, helping his country get economically developed, building that infrastructure. And this is great to see. None of this was going on when Burkina Faso was still a neo-colony of Western powers like France. The French military was there to occupy them, not to help them develop. But now they've booted out the West, seized control of their own country's resources, and reinvested those resources in economic development on behalf of the people. As they're fighting a war against jihadist extremists in their country, who the Western powers let occupy about 40% of it. Burkina Faso is healing, and it's healing through anti-imperialism and socialism. Keep carrying on the legacy of Thomas Sankara Ibrahim Traore. Everybody sees you as a hero.
And as of for now, Captain Traore is not on that EU reparations list. But the rest of these other videos that you're about to see in this article, they are. And to be more specific, a lot of Black Americans are thinking that some of us are overreacting, that we're getting it all confused. Well, this article is going to explain to you there's no confusion. And it says the diaspora factor in the sustainable development of Africa. This man, he's holding a picture. He's a part of that Pan-African movement for the reparations. And this writer says the African diaspora is a people of African descent who lives outside the African continent due to historical and contemporary migration. This includes descendants of enslaved Africans taken during the transatlantic slave trade, and more recently, migrants. Now, there you have it. So for the rest of these people that are here, they are here to get the resources from Black Americans. That is what their assignment is. Their assignment is to get the resources out of the hands of Black Americans and back home into their country. Now, more so than ever because of U.S. aid being cut off. This is what it's all about. They had already been planning these reparations years ago. But now here's a push for it because U.S. aid has now been removed as their cushion. They do not want to do the work. They just want to come in and they want to take over what has already been built up and then put it back into the countries that's going to fail. Only good people who believe in hard work, like Captain Traore, understands that you got to put the elbow grease in there for you to get something up out of it. After you watch these few videos, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd love to hear more of your comments down there in the comment section. Thank you so much.
According to the FBI, these are just some of the defendants involved in what they describe as the largest online fraud scheme in the country that had worldwide implications.
Victims in Colombia, China, the Caribbean, Germany, Japan, Mexico, the United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom.
Based in Nigeria, the FBI says this crime ring also was able to hit
emailing with con men
who left them with a broken heart and an empty bank account. From downtown Los Angeles, Dave Lopez, CBS.
4 countries that has banned Nigerians this week. Number 1 is UK, US, Canada, and UAE. Number 5 is Qatar. They say that Qatar will soon ban. In fact, they are on the move to ban Nigerians because of the artist activities our people are operating in Qatar. Okay, now let's just talk. I want to ask, why are these countries banning us? Is it because of the high rate of Japa syndrome or a rising case of crimes and misconduct by our people in abroad or in this country? What do you think might be the reason behind this increasing stringent visa policy against us in this country? Even though like US and UK visa ban are not only for Nigerians, they just upgraded their immigration policy. But what of UAE, Dubai? They literally said got Nigerians from age 18 to 45. Canada, like what could be the reason? Is it because of our bad attitude in abroad, or they just have normal hatred on us because of we are Nigerians?
No, ma'am. It's because they getting kicked out because they trying to scam everybody. And this is what I was saying earlier, is that a lot of them, because they have grown accustomed to living in bare minimum, there is not a work ethic there there's not really a pressing for you to come up with like $500, $800 a month in US dollars for rent. You know, there's not a pressing issue for coming up with an electricity bill every month that's consistently like $200 and $300 a month. That is unheard of over there because they have the bare necessity. And when they come over to the United States and to the United Kingdom, a lot of them resort into crime. When they come into the United States, that's why a lot of them have to braid hair, because a lot of them don't have the skills. If they did go to school over there, again, a lot of their credentials are not on the same standards as the United States.
Nigerians, let's talk. I think you guys collectively need to come together and realize that you are the common denominator. As in, all these countries that are coming together to ban you, to get rid of you, to not want you in their country, we are not all going mad. You guys need to finally accept that you are the toxic that we are all trying to get away from. And I understand that it sounds like I am generalizing right now, and I'm really not. Unfortunately, the bad apples are doing too much that we cannot see the good apples anymore. We cannot see the good ones anymore because the bad ones are just so many.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is our neighbor and friend. Nigeria is the heartbeat of Africa. They are the sound and rhythm of Africa to the world because of their sheer size and talents. That is undeniable. Africa's name, to some extent, goes as far as Nigeria goes in many ways. They are a force to reckon with, and that force, ladies and gentlemen, is also a problem to deal with. This is a country its people speak the loudest, both within and outside their borders, in spite of the many terminal challenges they face every day. This is a country whose spirit isn't easily broken. And if you are objective enough, you will concur with these facts, ladies and gentlemen. But a large percentage of the people of this country have chosen a pathway that cannot be encouraged, whether in Ghana, in South Africa, or in any part of the world. And this is what they have done. Ladies and gentlemen, they have given up on the fight to fix their own country and resorted to looking for what they couldn't achieve or cannot achieve in their own country, in other people's countries. And ladies and gentlemen, this shouldn't have been a problem because every other African country actually does it. Except that they are looking for this success by any means necessary and in the shortest possible time. This is the canker that plagues majority of young Nigerian immigrants anywhere they go. Shockingly, ladies and gentlemen, they are of the view that people outside of their country are not as driven and aggressive towards becoming successful as they are, not knowing that it is those same tendencies that's made their country the mess it is in. Many of them are therefore driven into all sorts of illegal enterprises anywhere they settle, getting rich by all means necessary in the shortest possible time. This is what Nigeria is being known for now. Who doesn't want this? But is that acceptable? It has gotten to the point that they don't care how a person makes their money, so long as the person makes their money. But you and I know that that's not how it's understood in other places. Nigeria, your people are running from your country as though the entire country is at war. Both men and women, young and old, to every other country. You have now become Africa's most emigrated country, meaning you have the largest number of people living abroad compared to any other African country.
Apparently, this is the list of the 20 countries with highest number of people without electricity in 2025, according to World Bank Energy Progress Report. At number 1, you have Nigeria, the giant of Africa, a country with a population of 237 million people as of 2025, a population report. 86,860,905 people lack access to electricity in Nigeria as of 2025. At number 2, you have DR Congo, one of the most resourceful African countries. More than 79 million people in Democratic Republic of Congo lack access to electricity. At number 3, you have Ethiopia, At number 4, Tanzania. At number 5, Uganda. At number 6, Niger Republic. At number 7, Mozambique. At number 8, Madagascar. At number 9, Burkina Faso. At number 10, Angola. All right. Now,
you know what? Right is right and wrong is wrong. Okay. Now, y'all need to really be careful with going to these hair braiders. I'm African to the core. I will always respect my people, always respect where I'm from. But also, these hair braiding salons need to understand that you make your money off of majority American women. Like, you're in America. You make your money here. So for y'all to be sitting there talking shit about people, saying whatever you want to say about people, and thinking, oh, they won't understand, so I could talk my shit and then smile in their face and overcharge them. Meanwhile, y'all talking mad shit in French and other African languages. Like, you never know who understands shit. If it's not for the American woman that's coming in y'all shop, y'all not making money. So stop talking shit. You don't know who understands. You don't know who speaks your language. Like, they was in there, Nangadef. I can understand that. Okay, I understand it, and I understand every dialect of shit y'all fucking talking. Stop doing that shit.
刚才说是你们受欧洲国家管理这么长时间，应该是学到了很多先进的管理经验。
哪有多少时间？没有多少时间呢。我们炒那个要那个国经济啊，很炒。现在是50年了，自己50年那个。就是
50年以前，你不是都受他们
50年以前什么都好啊。
是啊，那个先进的影响，那个代代往传下来，越传越文明越发达了，怎么越来越倒退，越落后了？你看这么先进的铁路，我1930几年就电气化铁路，这是中国啥时候才有电气化铁路的？你看矿区那个铁路，电气化那个双轨铁路，你看架得多好！你看现在顶上那个什么，哎呀，千疮百孔啊，破烂不堪了。把原来留下的东西根本都没有更加的爱护保护去利用它，反而都遭到了毁灭性的重创，都成成这样子的话，只有慢慢经过几代人。